5 of you fishing, 2 guides, or how was all that working out, or what was the ratio for that?
So on the bank, it was about a 60 to 3 guide ratio.
Yeah. Did you guys fish the confluence of the Russian?
No.
No.
We were just combat fishing right there in town on the Kenai.
Yeah,
at least the one day when we were flossing the one day, because we were supposed to be on the ocean but got blown off. So we ended up doing a second river trip, which ended up just being because it was the Kenai River has all kinds of restrictions, different times, different days, different. I mean, every
gaps, all that.
So so this was a day when there were no guide boats allowed. Like private fishermen could go out on a boat, but guides could not. So they could fish from the shore, which is what we had. We had a guide take us out, show us how to floss from the bank.
Cool.
Brutal.
Did he teach you guys the Kenai Twitch?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're pretty much locals now.
Which that day we ended up just one short of our limit, so that was pretty good.
Nice. What was the limit actually when you guys were there?
3 apiece.
3? Okay. Sometimes, man, they'll up that to 6. So you go, you pull an overnighter, man, you come back with 12. It's awesome.
Woo.
Yeah. That's usually later in the season after they hit their sustainment goals and all that.
Derek was always back on the river when we were done with our guide trip, so he was trying to double his.
Didn't stand a chance though.
Whoops.
Whoops.
The only thing I caught in any of them expeditions was the dolly,
which was cool.
Was it nice though?
No, it was a little tiny thing.
Tasted good.
Cool,
yeah, it did.
We cooked that thing up.
I want one of them colored up dollies in the fall.
Me too.
Bad, dude. Oh my god, I want one of those.
I was telling Dave that's a bucket list fish for me.
Yeah.
Get them during their spawning colors when they're just like
purple
20,
and red and pink, and dude, they're crazy looking, man.
They are super cool, man. Beautiful fish.
Yeah, it's almost like someone gave a 3-year-old lipstick, man, and just put it everywhere. Swimming through the water. That's what it always reminds me of, dude. They're just amazing looking, though.
Yeah, they're like a giant brookie on steroids.
Yeah, seriously. No, for
real. I can't wait. I'm gonna be chasing them this fall on the Metolius.
Dude, nice.
Where are you going?
Metolius.
Where's that?
About an hour away from me.
Oh, perfect.
Seriously,
right in Central Oregon.
An hour for that?
Yeah.
Dang.
Me and Kent are going.
That's cool.
Big white freaking fluffy streamers, man.
Oh
yeah.
Is there an invite coming out soon that I missed, or
come
what?
on over, dude. You guys are always welcome, except for Gary.
Gary, and that should have hurt, but it didn't.
We'll send him pics. We'll go hit
Gary's like, if I wanted a streamer, I'd go to my dryer.
That's another story.
We can hit the Metolius, throw streamers, and because the bulls sit up there and they just gorge on all the fish coming up out of the lake.
Oh man!
And then go over to the fall, hiking about half a mile on the fall, and then chase some big freaking red sides with little small flies. And it's just like, and you'll see them too. I mean, it's literally probably, I think the fall river is only like maybe 10 feet wide, and it's like super, super clear. And you'll see these fish in there like 28 to 30 inches just sitting there stacked up, and none of them will take anything that you throw at them. And
doesn't that piss you off?
Dude, it's super picky. But it's
that's
kind of
how, that's how one of our places is here, man. Like you see these monster, I mean, there's not many 30s in there, but you'll see like 20, 25-inch browns, and man, they will move out the way for your fly. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
They will move out the way.
Dude, you'll watch it come through, and it's like parting the sea. They'll just kind of gradually all go, and you'll fly right through, and they'll just close it back up. And you're like, you son of a bitches.
You got to bust out that 12X, bro.
It's
fluorocarbon.
I think you're 12 gauge. Just stick it under the water, pull the trigger.
Oh,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, there's
that's all you need is the Kenai Twitch,
right? Floss those bastards.
I ran into this guy in the water the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "We were talking about those big browns that just move out the way." He's like, "I need to bust out my old." He called it something. He's like, "You never heard of that fly?" I'm like, "No, what is that?" He's like, "Oh, bro." He's like, what you do is you tie an M80 on the end, fucking light it, and throw it in the river.
Early 4th of July.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so. Did you say you fish the banks? Was it just loaded with people?
Oh yeah, we were just lined up nuts to butts, man.
What? How did the people treat each other? Is it like gang warfare? You shoving, pushing?
It's pretty close, dude.
Yeah. Dude, go downtown Anchorage, man. There's cops on the water for that reason.
Is
Yeah.
people sharing information, or is it like one guy catches everybody asking, "What's you use?" No, I'm not telling you, man. Or do they keep it all? Do they tell people, or they keep it close? What did you guys experience?
On the shore?
What type of fly you were using? Yeah, on the shore when you're standing with 80 of your closest friends.
Gary, we were flossing, man. Flossing is
Yeah,
snagging.
you throw a bead on
We were
there.
using a hook.
You chuck it out there and you just rip it through the pile.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Ooh.
tail
Literally.
hook any?
Literally.
Oh, never
No.
mind then.
No,
Belly hook.
man.
So you can't
Couple
do
people
that.
tail hooked. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to let those go.
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah, I
can't
know that,
floss
but
in
I'll tell you
Oregon.
what, you tail hook a salmon, you're in for the ride of your life.
Oh,
I'm
for
sure
Oh yeah.
that-
No, when we went out to the fly out, we you don't have to floss there. We were using trebles the first fly out, and man, we tail hooked a lot. And yeah, it's a rodeo. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's crazy how like the difference is. Like you can go up to Alaska and you can literally throw a treble hook out there and just go
Yep.
and be okay with it. Down like in Oregon, and man, you get anybody thinks you're flossing, they're gonna walk over one and throat punch you and cut your line and throw all your gear in the river
And deserve it. Deserve it.
and stuff. So, but it's kind of crazy just how like the different aspects and the different like what's okay in one area and what's not okay in another area.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just
it
like-
has a lot to do with one. The most important thing is meeting their sustainment goals for salmon returns, obviously, right? And I think it's really just a subsistence fishery. Like they just want people
Yeah.
to get their food. And there's rules. Like if you hook it anywhere outside the mouth, like you technically have to let it go and stuff. But don't get caught keeping one of those. I've watched people get arrested on the water for that.
Now,
Like we had game wardens come and look for holes in the mouth. Like if there's a hole in
Wow.
the back and there wasn't a hole in the mouth, you're screwed.
Wow.
when you're flossing up there, is there a requirement of like when you're throwing beads and stuff of where the bead can be at, like how close it has to be to the hook and not?
Yeah,
Um,
so unless it's changed since I got up there, you had to have. So one, you're basically throwing what they call a kenai or a Russian river fly, or at least that's what we use. All it is, it's like think about like a long streamer hook, but with it can only have at the time I think it was a 3/8 gap,
Yeah.
so you can only have like a 3/8 inch gap. Basically, it was deer hair. It was kind of like I forget the name of that fly. The one that's just deer hair. What we would do is pull the deer hair out and just basically leave a little tiny bit on there just so you can kind of see where it's at in the water. Because all that does is make it buoyant, but you want to get down. So we would pull the deer hair out to get rid of that buoyancy. And then you did have to have, God, if I remember correctly, it was like you had to have a free floating weight. So it could go up and down your entire line. Or if you had a pinch weight, it had to be so many inches away from your hook. And I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, see, all ours, like down here for salmon steelhead, it's all about the freaking beads. It's a huge aspect
beads,
down
yep.
here. So we just bounced the beads, and I was wondering if that was that way in Alaska too. Is just like, was there a distance from the bead to the hook that you had to have on there, or
Yeah,
like
when I trout fished up there, that's all. Like we threw beads. I mean, that's throwing beads is the way to catch trout up there. It just is. If the salmon are running, and we would peg our beads, and I'm pretty sure, man, it was like 3/4 of an inch or something above the hook or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we just throw them under an indicator, and that's all we did.
What were you and Dave throwing? Were you guys chucking beads at all, or was it just whatever the hell it was?
So I had a rig that had a bead right above the hook, and it was just sitting right on the hook. I caught the dolly off that, but literally I was flossing with that as well. And then when we went and flossed with the guide, I had exactly, what he was talking about. It was just a hook with a little bit of synthetic fluff, on the top of the hook. Just for what, I don't know, but
Yarnies. We call those yarnies.
Yeah, Yarny. Yep.
Yep.
essentially, you're just snagging. I've done that type of snagging, especially the snagging that we did on the fly out here in Colorado for kokanee with just the weighted treble. And there's a couple of stretches of streams and rivers in between some reservoirs, you can still you can go and snag.
Yeah.
Now, the kokanee, will those actually eat a fly? Like
Yeah.
if you threw like
Yeah.
a normal nymph out there, they'll eat that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we have
they'll still hit aggressively, and I guess the sockeye, they won't touch anything.
Yeah.
because we have a big kokanee population around here, and that's actually what comes out of Billy Chinook and chases up Metolius. That's why we have those white streamers, because they're chasing the kokanee up there and eating them. But like we have it, ours is the same way. I mean, it's just like our kokanee populations around here are fucking stupid, and it's just like everybody's just on the bridges. They're pretty much just dropping it straight down into the school and then bringing it straight back up.
Yep.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
they're fun fish though to catch. I mean, especially on a fly rod. I mean, shit, pretty much anything's fun to catch on a fly rod though.
For
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, I've caught some pretty nice kokanee in the dream stream, off flies up there, like in the fall, fishing for like some of the brownies they'll run into the dream stream from brain farting 11 Mile and
Spinny.
Spinny
Mountain Reservoir.
Yeah, and then I've hit a couple of pretty good sized kokanee out of there, 22-inch kokanee.
Oh,
Thanks.
nice, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever had kokanee candy?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
my
what is that?
god, you're missing out.
Is that the one with like the where you put like the honey on there and it hardens?
Well, you put a glaze on there, and you can whatever you glaze you want. We put like a honey style freaking mango glaze,
Ooh.
and then we let that sit for about half a day. Then we throw it on the smoker, and at like 150 degrees, and just smoke it. And then as it's almost in whole, and then when you're done, you just take it off and snap a piece off. Oh my god, dude, it's the
Nice.
best. Because I mean, and if people are listening, they're like, "Oh, what the heck's the kokanee?" Is a form of salmon, so you have that salmon taste in that red meat, and it's just it's so good.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Derek or Dave and Derek, man, you guys gonna do a little bit of your salmon that way? I can't
Oh,
wait
yeah.
to see some pictures.
100%.
I would like to. Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Send me that in an email, Rob, because I'll forget.
It is a great way to get every man in the neighborhood to show up at your front door.
you
Well,
go.
I don't want that.
BYOB.
Well, my neighbors do. I live in a cul-de-sac, and all my neighbors are super cool. And dude, as soon as one of us start firing that up, dude, we're walking up to the door. We don't even knock on the door. We just go straight to the backyard. We have beer in hand and ready to go.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, Derek loves throwing meat. So do I. Obviously, Ryan does. So let us know when that's going to happen, and we'll work our way out to you.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
It's all about the meat life.
Right?
Heck yeah.
We'll get Gary on the meat, man. He'll come out. He'll come around. He'll do it.
He only likes Adam's meat, from what I've heard.
True.
PG show, PG. You gotta edit that part out, please.
Sometimes I supply Adam with my meat. So does that mean you're getting my meat secondhand through
Yeah.
Adam?
Oh,
I
Gary, how does Ryan's meat taste?
I think we've all had contributed to Stan the man's freaking meat fetish.
I've got nothing. The shit is so thick, there's no room to say anything. You guys are gonna be choking soon here on the crap you're spewing.
Oh man, nice.
Awesome.
So Derek, so was this like a bucket list trip for you to go out to Alaska? Because you had never been before, right?
No, I'd never been, and absolutely, it was a bucket list for sure. I'll be
Nice.
going back, guaranteed.
Heck yeah, man. Nice. Maybe we can all make that trip together. So with that being one of your bucket list trips, what's your dream though? Like what's at the top of that bucket list? What's your perfect dream trip? Money's not an issue. If you could go, you could go. What's the deal? What you got?
Probably Jurassic Lake in Argentina, and throw some Dorado in Bolivia in there with that. That would be the bucket list.
Yeah, that
Heck
sounds like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then, I would not take any emails, IG, anything from Jurassic. Because all it does is make you go, I want to go.
yeah.
Right?
Terminate it all. I don't want to see it. There's some pretty
Yeah.
good shots. We've seen some pretty good shots lately.
Yeah, I actually
Makes
have
sense.
plans to go down there in 2 years. I'm gonna drag my mom and my girl and probably my brother down there and go fish it for about a week.
Heck yeah,
That'd be
that's
fun.
awesome.
You do any hunting at all as well?
When I was younger, I used to hunt. I don't do too much hunting anymore, but yeah, I mean, my whole family, I grew up hunting, fishing, all that stuff. My cousin, he owns an outfitter in Steamboat. So
Oh, nice.
he's been harassing me to come bear hunt with him.
Oh, that'd be cool. The
With
reason I asked is
knives.
one of my buddies went over, and I don't know where exactly he went, but he went after Dorado, and they did like a cast and blast trip, man. So they went hunting for birds, and they were catching Dorado on gnarly streamers. The pictures were amazing.
I bet. Dude, them Dorado, they look serious.
Dude, I love. I got a buddy that owns another company that goes in Nepal all the time,
Oh,
and
cool.
he gets all these local guides that he's friends with, and like, oh yeah, come on. He sends me back pictures, and I'm like, fuck, I hate you. I hate you with the pictures. He's like, go get your passport. You can come with. I'm like, yeah, it's only like what $9,000 to fly over there. I mean, that's all.
Right. Jeez.
Right? Count in.
Hey, it might be $8,000 right now. COVID, come on.
True.
Take advantage of it while you can.
What a bargain.
Right?
So with you traveling a lot, something that I'm always kind of curious in, because this is something I'm really big in, and the guy I fish is really, really big in too. How do you recon these areas? Like, how do you go out and then do you just walk into it blind and be like, oh, well, shit, here we go? Or do you we go into a lot of detail, as Gary's finding out. Like, we're going into like mapping and freaking Onyx and all this other stuff. How do you prepare for those kind of trips?
Oh, I'm a drunken idiot, man. I just toss myself to the wolves.
There's room in my truck for you.
Yeah.
Man,
Now
you
I
should have came
see-
up when I was in Alaska.
Yeah, now I'm understanding why you guys all click.
Exactly.
Just take some stuff. We're all in line. You ready to go?
Oh,
yes.
man.
Oh yeah.
Like,
If there's water, there's fish, right? I mean, we'll figure it out.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
and I'm the exact opposite. I'm literally
Mm.
like this trip that we're coming up to for Wyoming, and Gary's seen it. Like, we've got like roads down, we've got campsites already located.
He's already got fish marked in the water.
We've talked to biologists, we've talked to the local guides, the local fly shops, we've talked to all these guys and gotten a crap load of information. So when we get there,
Nice.
I don't have to worry about it. I already know what I need to throw. and how
Am
to
I
catch
supposed to
fish.
print that stuff out or just keep
I
it
don't
on my
care
phone?
what you do, because I know what I'm doing.
God. I do like it that he did the work, because I'm not going to.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my
I'll show
God,
up.
Kent did
Yeah.
some work. It's
And so we actually were working on that today, and it just really
Nice.
made me think about it. It's like hearing all your guys' trips. And so,
oh yeah. Me and
Yeah.
my buddy were working on our trip today, and we figured out we're eating at Del Taco 3 times. That's the
enough.
extent of the trip.
Plan
nice.
incomplete.
That's all we need.
funny.
that's
That
fair
is
enough.
funny.
Yeah. I like the thrill in the hunt. So I like just basically
The
just
unknown.
showing up and having at it. I like the puzzle. I like trying to decipher the puzzle.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
heck
do
yeah.
you usually start out with? Like, if you get to a water, let's say there's no fish rising, so you're not gonna automatically throw it dry.
Yeah.
What's your go-to? You tossing streamers? You tossing nymphs? What are you doing?
I'll probably toss nymphs
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I love catching fish.
Yep.
Yep.
No, nymphs catch fish. That's no
Dude,
secret.
it's scary. I mean, it's just I'm a big streamer guy too, but I last year, my first year getting into Euro nymphing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a whole different world
Yeah.
and stuff. So, what kind of nymphs are you tossing? Is there like a specific like go to? This is my fly. That's my confidence fly.
My confidence fly is I probably got 2 of them. So if I have 2 flies that I can run, it's going to be your standard Prince nymph and then straight to a Black Beauty.
Nice.
It
About
just-
what side you going super small, or is it just kind of determined
On the
what
black-
water?
On the Black Beauty, I don't care what water I'm on. I'm going super small. I'm probably going in between a 22 and a 26. And it seems that fly basically can't fail me on any trout water. And then the Prince Sniff, I'll probably be running 14, 16, somewhere around there.
Nice.
What is that Black Beauty? I don't think I've heard of that.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, granted,
it's
I
just
don't nip
bird.
a ton, but is it? I'm thinking like a zebra mage or something. Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Or okay,
Basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all intents
Just
and
a-
purposes, it's
A
black
slight
zebra.
modified.
gotcha. Okay, that's how I was like. You said tiny. I'm like, okay, it's probably some variation of a zebra, maybe a little fluff in there somewhere or something.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I mean, I'm kind of the same feel. Mine's orange paragon, and then pink bead headed caddis. Are my two nymphs. That I can pretty much go anywhere in the U.S. and not have to worry about. I'm gonna catch fish on them.
Yep.
And it's just like, and mine's is kind of determined. I think the most comfortable time, surprisingly, even with them, are probably like a 12 and a 14. And so
Man,
very,
nice.
very rarely do I ever throw anything with probably below a 20. Just because, I mean, we all know, I mean, most of us tie a Euro nymph hook size 10 or a size 14 is different than a standard 10 or 15 size hook. So you're tying small, it looks small, but you still have the access to the bigger hook and you got a better curve and stuff. So
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
this summer I've been throwing old school, the pheasant tails.
Yeah,
I'm like, holy
dude, those things
crap.
are deadly.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, I
For real.
almost feel guilty. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
I did use the word almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, take that off. Good job, fish.
It's like, yeah, I mean, they're
The old
True.
school, man. Old
yeah,
school.
and they worked
Yep.
and they worked for years and they're still great. And I think that's another thing with the fly world that I've noticed is like everybody's always out to try to come up with something new and forget about the originals. I mean, yeah, their patterns
Mhm.
and the material might not necessarily be working the best, but there's just so much material out there. Those patterns are still freaking amazing.
Yeah, there's a reason why
Back to
they're
the
still
classics.
around,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it has been amazing. I think the last 6 months to a year, the some of the flies that are being made are amazing shape, amazing color, amazing, just amazing things. They're like, but a fish ain't gonna eat that shit.
Dude,
It
there's
felt
literally-
Looks good in the
Actually,
photo, but
yeah.
it's not gonna eat.
Yeah,
What
and
the hell is that?
and that's
They're
Right.
just fun to tie. and
Yeah,
they look
that's the
pretty.
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is especially if you talk to anybody that's tied for more than a month. There's two types of flies: ones that catch fish and ones that catch fishermen. And
Yeah,
The
it's
ones that
just
look
like-
good on the gram.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. And it's nothing against him. Ryan is a ties beautiful flies that will catch fishermen in a heartbeat. I mean, hell, he suckered David into getting some.
Hell
100
yeah.
of them.
And then and then like mine, I don't tie flash.
Support the team. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't tie flash. I do a lot of feather changers. I do a lot of stuff like this where I'm going olive or black or in copper and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm out there to freaking slay and all that. So that's why I love Ryan. I love bouncing, like seeing his artwork and then trying to manipulate it into what I can do. It's like, okay, I can tie that, but I'm gonna tie it a little differently and all that. So
Appreciate it.
Is it no matter what river you go to that those are your two confidence flies? I mean, obviously you've got the animus in your backyard, so you know pretty much every
Yeah.
month of the year what's going to work there. Well, but
Oh,
what
yeah.
if you went to a new body of water? How are you going to approach that?
Still the Black Beauty.
Yeah,
I'll still throw it. Yeah. Anytime I show up and I'm going to nymph, if I don't see any risers or anything, or if I'm just dead set on throwing streamers, whatever. But if I'm going to nymph, the Black Beauty starts on the rig for sure. It's just, I mean, you can't beat it.
Do you
Right.
start with?
They're everywhere.
Do you use an indicator or do you use a dry fly as your indicator?
you know how I roll, Gary. A lot of times I use the dry fly as my indicator. I don't
Yeah.
even care if it's middle
Yeah.
of winter. We'll throw a
Yeah.
chubby on there. I will have something smash it.
Some
It's
big
crazy,
orange red
dude.
thing called a salmon fly.
salmon
Yeah.
Fly.
Stan the man likes those.
Dude,
No, he
it's no
doesn't.
joke, man.
Gary doesn't. Standing man does not. It's AC likes those.
Oh, okay.
Shoot, sometimes, man, in the dead of winter, like doing exactly what you're talking about, Derek. I've caught fish come up and hit that chubby that I
Oh, yeah.
probably would have hooked that day if that chubby wasn't up there.
Oh
You
yeah.
didn't have a
They
hook
came
on
up
it. Yeah,
against-
exactly.
Yep. It's nuts.
Yeah.
That's why I think we had to have indicators with hooks on them.
Dude,
Dude,
I've
I've
had
done
fish hit my indicators before.
I've literally
Yes.
I have done it. I have
There you
thrown
go.
I've thrown hooks into the set you free indicators and
Hmm.
actually hooked fish before.
That's
Hmm.
crazy.
Oh, I believe.
We
Offer
if
that
we
as
only
an
knew
option.
somebody.
Come on.
I got tired of them hitting it. They kept smashing the crap out of it, and then
And
just,
what
Yep.
color was the indicator at that
I
time?
think it was orange.
Orange.
Yeah, there was
Uh-huh.
Orange.
That's why the
Orange and
salmon
yellow.
fly goes on.
Yeah.
Orange
pink,
and yellow,
Pink works
man.
really good too. Sometimes.
Pink does work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that photo lens that they're talking about now? The new photo lens of fishes looking
Oh,
at
who
the
knows?
certain colors and all that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
That's right.
was it purple's like huge, right? Or was I?
Purple
Oh,
does well, man. Purple,
Dude,
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I don't know the science. But
Purple
purple
works.
Yeah, it
If I'm-
does. It does.
If I'm going to
Yeah.
deviate from black, olive, it's purple.
Yeah.
Purple
Purple's
works.
good
Mine
for
really
sure.
mine really deviates on cloud cover if I have that or not. And then that's
Yeah.
where I'm gonna start. That's where I get into changing colors or doing whatever like that.
So, what is your favorite weather to fish? Like he just said, cloud cover, or blue skies. What is your preferences?
Sheets of rain.
Yes.
Not snow, you
Sheets.
chicken shit. I mean, snow.
You know, I'm not above it though.
No, yeah.
not at all.
When I came above the water, I saw you were fishing well
In the snow.
in the snow.
Yes.
I love fishing in the snow and the rain. And it's just like
Yeah.
it seems like that's when you get your true passion guys out there. You don't get the
Yeah.
city, the city. Hey, I just bought a rod from Walmart. I'm gonna go out and try it. You're getting the guys out there that are. This is dedication, and I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my personal best memories is my oldest son when he was this high. Now he's this high. I took him out to fly fish, and it started raining. It's 6, 7. All the fly fishermen left, and I stood out there. And at that time, I was wearing a vest, the Sims vest. And he stood next to me, and I wrapped him around it, and we just continued to fish in the rain. And he still
Right.
talks about it 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome. So yeah, it's bad weather is actually cool to fish in.
That is.
It is.
Snow,
Yeah, some-
rain.
My best days have had been
Yeah.
shittiest weather.
Yeah.
What is that Sim saying? Cold feeder for weddings?
So true.
Awesome.
Going back to Alaska, obviously you caught some big fish there, but outside of Alaska, do you have a big fish story that either one you landed that was crazy or that one that broke your heart and you still haven't forgot about that got away? If so,
Oh.
tell us about it.
All right. Well, I definitely like any fisherman. I got one of each for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes you
Yeah.
legit. You're legit. now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and Dave, I mean, the one I landed, you've seen pictures of on numerous occasions. I never miss a moment to show it off.
For sure.
Yeah.
But describe it to these guys.
All right. Yeah, I caught a really nice cut bow in the middle of winter right here on the Animas. And, for those that don't know, the Animas is a freestone river. It's not, dammed up. So, there's not a bunch of, mysis or shrimp fed pigs sitting underneath a dam up here. But we get some really nice fish, and I've caught some really nice fish out of here. But I caught a 29.5-inch cut bow in the middle of winter on 7X, size.
Damn.
Ooh, how
Size
long did that
20.
take to bring in?
It took me about 15-20 minutes to land.
Yeah, finessing the hell out of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I knew I had a really nice fish on there, but I had no clue until I got it into the net. And it was just
What
ridiculous.
was cut bow? You said, yeah.
Yep, it was a big old cut bow. Initially, I thought it was a rainbow. I have some absolutely hilarious GoPro footage of it because I turned on my GoPro and totally spaced out that my GoPro was even on because, it took me 15 minutes to land this fish.
Right.
All the shock and awe when I did it's pretty funny and pretty cool to watch.
What was that?
Was it on the-
fight? What was
The Prince
fight
or the
like?
Black Beauty? Oh,
It was
sorry.
on Black Beauty.
Black
Yeah.
Beauty?
No
Oh,
wonder
yeah.
that's your
So
go-to fly.
that's why you like it. Makes all kinds of sense now.
Yeah,
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 Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Derek, don't say a word. Just shake your head. Was it behind Home Depot? There we go.
What was that fight like, man? Did you get a lot of jumps? Did you get a lot of runs?
No, I got a lot of runs. I didn't get a lot of jumps. That's the main reason I didn't realize the size of the fish I had on. So it was really cold. It was the middle of winter. And so I didn't get a lot of jumps, a lot of runs. I got a lot of runs. And like I said, I knew I had a big fish on. So mainly I was trying to keep him in some of the softer water that was a little bit behind me. He kept trying to run above me into the riffles.
Because he knew better.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I
he was
had
experienced. Yeah.
yeah, I had my hands full for sure. Yeah, and it was cool. And I landed it on one of my super cheap rigs because I was out there. It was cold, and Dave knows I'm a bull in a china cabinet. If it can be broken, I will break.
Yes, I'm the same
So
exact
I try
way.
not to take my really nice rigs out in the middle of winter because they will not last long.
Right.
So it's just an overall cool experience.
Hell yeah.
What about one that got away? One that broke your heart?
That list is long.
We all got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that list is long. I would say probably the biggest one that breaks my heart is probably the one that I hooked up to a couple of days after that fish. I was fishing right here in town, and I hooked
Behind
up.
Home Depot.
No, this was actually behind the library.
There you go. People don't
The
realize that.
library.
People
This
don't
was
realize
out-
that your river cuts right through the town.
Right
Yeah.
through the town.
Yeah.
And this is outside of the gold medal waters. Everybody fishes back there, and I had literally, I kid you not, maybe like a half hour of daylight left. After I got off work, I shot down there real quick, got in the water, and I hooked up to, I'm pretty sure it was a brown trout. I got to see him pretty good a couple of times. That basically dwarfed the cut bow that I had landed a few days before that. And it was probably, for a river, the most impressive fish that I've ever hooked onto, just because of what he ended up doing to me. I hooked up to him. Initially, I thought I was snagged because when I set the hook, he didn't budge. And then it moved a little bit. I realized I had a really nice fish. And I put a little bit of pressure on him, and he swam directly at me. And I was probably in top thigh deep water. And when he literally got to about 8 inches in front of me, and when he saw me, he just took out all of my fly line, about another 20 feet of backing downriver in probably like 5 or 6 seconds. And and I still had him at the end of the run. And as impressive as that was, his next run blew my mind, because when he got to the end of that run, I put a little bit of pressure on him again, and he covered all that ground back upstream in the same amount of time. I couldn't even keep I was stripping line. I couldn't even keep the line tight. Everything just went totally slack. I thought I lost the fish, and I finally ended up getting all my slack back on the water, and my line got tight, and he was still on there, and he had basically came right back up into the same hole that I hooked him. And I was in panic mode at that point, because he was about to fifth.
Damn.
All
But-
sense goes out the window.
But
Oh yeah,
That's when you start hitting him with the tip of the rod. You son of a.
Gary and his 10-carat rod. That's another story.
yeah.
My anxiety was so high, I didn't want to do anything with the fish.
Man.
And so I ended up trying to just keep him in that soft water, try to wear him out a little bit, try not to put too much pressure on him, because obviously, I mean, he was freaked out. And, I probably kept him in that hole maybe for about 45 more seconds. And then I put a little bit of pressure on him. Exact same scenario. He came right up next to me. And as soon as he got right up next to me, this time he just shot directly straight across the river. And he shot so quickly that I was unable to do anything, and it just popped the line. Boop.
But
You didn't have your,
say
you weren't fishing your able reel.
I was gonna say, was it the same fly?
No, that was not the same fly. He actually took Manhattan midge.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I am familiar with that one.
22.
Nice.
I am not. Is that one that drinks a lot? The Manhattan, a little whiskey taste to it. What's
Yeah,
the
and
deal
it's
with that one?
fancy, a little flash.
funny.
Yeah, you got to throw your pinky up when you tie that one on.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude,
I'm still
That's
a man.
weird.
I'm still a man. I swear to God.
Right?
that's an impressive story, man. I'll tell you.
Dude, I was crushed.
So
And that was
here's-
behind Walmart, right? Was it Walmart
No,
or
right behind
library?
the library. Right
Man.
behind the library.
Well, if it
I-
makes
I-
you feel any better, dude, you're probably not the first person that's dealt with that fish. He knew what he was
Yeah.
Oh
doing.
no, guaranteed not. Guaranteed
And-
not.
Yep.
And he's
Yeah.
still in that hole behind the library, I bet. Seemed to want to go straight back there.
So I know where I'm
I
going when
actually-
I come over there.
I actually probably know where that fish is at.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because he was a big brown, and it was so it wasn't dead middle of winter. It was probably back end of fall, so he was probably moving around. There's a couple of spots upriver from that. I'm pretty sure where he hunkers down and resides. He was probably
Is there
just
any- Is there any daylight left outside? We might have to go.
right.
Well, we just lost Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I was just thinking, and it just sparked it in my head. Just this thought about confidence flies. Clearly, you have a couple, but it's ironic because for me, Manhattan midge, I'd like never catch fish on it. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Maybe because I don't believe in it because I've never caught fish on it. Prince, similar. I have caught a couple, but not many. But you slay. I mean, literally slay on a Prince.
I do.
And
I
it's
do.
just, I just think there's a real fact to the whole confidence thing, whether it's your
Yeah.
gear, your flies.
Yep.
I think
Um,
it's just walking out there being confident in general. I mean, because
Yeah,
I've
that's
gone
true.
out there and set other veterans up with the same exact rig I'm doing, and they're doing the same exact steps, but and their confidence level was like, oh, I mean, their mindset was already like, well, I'm probably not going to catch anything, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, no, that's not okay. You're going to catch fish. You have to go into this like, I am going to catch fish. I'm pulling the biggest fish I'm going to get out of here.
That's a fact.
And it's just like you
Yeah.
don't walk into like that, then you're already 3 steps behind.
I agree.
Well, yeah, I agree to that. But what are you talking? I have a different perspective on it. I took a first time fly fisherman out last week or 2 weeks ago, and what's that?
You damaged him already.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's going to need professional help. I agree.
First and last time, fisherman.
Well, actually, we're
You
going to
can't-
Park City, but don't tell AC that.
Okay.
And I told him, the first 3 or 4 times, fly fishermen don't catch anything because you're learning technique, you're learning casting, you're learning everything. And the son of a bitch caught something. I was like, I was thrilled for him because I was sincere. But I'm talking about a brand new guy
Yeah.
as opposed to somebody who's got a little bit
Oh,
of
see,
an
you're
hour or two.
nicer. You're nicer than me, and so I just set him up for disappointment. I'll be like, no, you're catching fish today.
Just break their hearts right
Yeah,
away.
you're catching.
You're
fish
right.
today.
I was handling them like they
Nope.
were liberal.
No,
Oh, sorry.
Nobody likes a quitter. You're catching fish today, and it's just like I tell all my guys. It's just like going into freaking getting ready to deploy. Your mindset. Get that in your mindset when you grab your fly rod to go fishing. I'm catching fish. I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm not gonna get
Yeah.
skunked because once you get into that, it is
Mhm.
so easy to go down that rabbit hole. Oh,
Crap.
Well,
and then be like, I didn't catch a fish today, and then it's such a bummer. And then you hear, I mean, nobody wants to hear that dude that bitches on the water all day long that I didn't catch.
oh,
fish.
now you tell me.
No,
Oh,
he
no.
only gets invited.
You
one
haven't fished
time.
with Gary, have you?
You have not.
I
You have
have-
not floated down a river with me that I was not
So-
happy with.
I would say I have, but luckily he had a camera in his hand, and so
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. Well, we weren't floating. I'll
True.
fish. Oh man, that where we were at, Rob, was awesome. But put a boat in there, forget about it. I'm done.
you're missing out.
Oh.
You're missing out.
Man,
Right.
I started drinking there too, not early enough.
Dude, we started drinking at what 7 o'clock in the morning,
Oh,
I don't remember.
and we stopped.
This is how
at,
bad
like,
it is. I don't remember.
We stopped.
yeah,
We literally.
exactly.
Sorry.
We stopped at like what 2 or 3 in the morning.
Is it like
Oh,
golf?
nice.
You got to
You
do a
had-
shotgun
you had-
every par 3.
We
You had
drank-
grandma pissed off at
dude,
you.
we drank so much, and we had it was like the sun was out at like 3 o'clock in the morning on their side yard in her bedroom window.
Yeah, grandma's room was on the side of the house that we were filming in. So
Oh man.
That's
yeah, she was
hilarious.
pissed. I threw you under the bus, Rob. I said it was all Rob's fault.
Oh yeah, and why not,
Look at that dork.
dude?
God.
I get spoiled there, so yeah, just throw my name out there. They'll be like, oh,
Oh.
it's okay then.
It was easy. It was easy. Derek, if you had been there, I would have thrown you under the bus.
Yeah.
I throw everybody under the bus, bro.
Heck yeah.
A fact.
Hey,
So
hey,
Derek-
Dave. Hey.
How long
Hey,
you been
how are
fishing,
you?
dude?
We expect nothing less.
How
Derek?
long you been fishing, Derek?
What's that?
How long you been fly fishing?
How long have I been fly fishing? So the first time I fly fished, I was young. I was a young kid. Like I said, I grew up fishing and hunting and all that stuff. Definitely took a hiatus from fly fishing. So like legitly fly fishing, I've probably literally only been legitly fly fishing maybe 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
But
what got you into it in the first place?
probably just the feel. You know,
Yeah.
I love to fish, period. And so I'm not the type of person that's like, I fly fish and I fly fish only. No. I'm
Were
not
you
like that.
a spinner fisherman before that, or no fisherman at all, and you just got into?
Oh
fly
yeah,
fishing?
no. I've been fishing my whole life. So yeah, you know, spinner rod, you name it.
So did
bait
somebody?
casters.
What was your motivation to switch from spinner to fly rod?
My
Was there a
motiva-
moment? I'm sorry.
You know, my buddy Fred took me out on his raft, me and my brother, on the Colorado River, and you know, we went out there, no fishing gear. He just brought his fly rods, and we went out there fly fishing and just filling the fish on the fly rod again. Just, I mean, you guys know what it's like. There's no other feeling in the world. And I've been introduced, you know, to fiberglass rods too, thanks to my buddy Dave.
Oh,
There
I
you
would
go.
kick him in the shins, because that's where his
No.
wallet's at.
Man,
I love glass, bro.
Ultra
Oh,
sensitive.
you guys are-
Glass is too slow for me.
Is it?
Oh, you guys are glutton for punishment dudes.
I
love
enjoyed
that.
it. I really enjoyed throwing it when I was starting off because it was slower and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But now I'm just all about a fast rod. I just want to get that shit out there.
Well, when you get a fish on a glass rod,
Oh, it's fun.
I mean that's what he was saying. You feel. I mean, you
Yeah.
feel every little tiny
That's like
movement.
I hate to say it. My glass rod reminded me a lot of my Euro rod. And stuff,
Okay.
so I had
Yeah.
like these feelings are similar. I mean, actually, that's what I'm building a Sage Euro rod right now for the Wyoming trip.
Nice.
and
Gotcha.
stuff,
Have
so-
you ever fished bamboo?
Yes. And so
Okay.
one of my
Because
buddies.
glass and bamboo are a lot alike.
Yes, one of my buddies actually builds bamboo rods.
Nice.
Outside of Almsville, and so I got to meet up with him, and even we were just chasing trout and bluegill, and man, even just decent sized trout, but I mean, even the
Mhm.
bluegill were fun catching them on bamboo. It was
For
su-
sure.
it was such a blast.
I'll have to introduce you to that next, Derek.
Nice, I'm in.
All right.
Yeah, because my rods run the gamut. You know, the rod that I use the most is a fast action rod. That's the rod that I use the most. But whenever I get a chance to bring my fiberglass rods out there, that's what I do.
It has its place, I say. And you know what's really cool? You know what I call the glass rods? Tippet savers. I've landed
That's a
I'm
fact.
sorry, you call them what?
tippet
Tippet
savers.
saver.
Dude,
Yeah,
I've landed
thank
a
you.
25-inch brown on my 3-weight glass before. I had
Mhm.
the rod bent in half. I would have never have done that with fiberglass. I would have had to play
Right.
it a lot more. But I mean, that's its own conversation. If you catch a huge fish on a really lightweight rod, are you over pressuring that fish because you have to fight it forever before you can land it? If you know what I mean, or if you have that glass rod, you can get them in pretty quick. So
Yeah.
that's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely the chance you take. If you're out there gunning, like I wouldn't take my 3-weight.
Yeah, you're
to
not gonna go like targeting
the
monster
Taylor
fish with your
River,
3-weight.
you know,
Yeah.
or go throw it in the toilet bowl at the frying pan, you know.
Yep.
You fished there? I fished there. That was awesome.
Everyone's
Yeah.
fished there.
I have.
No, they haven't.
I have.
Oh,
So
well,
I-
there's people there right now. I guarantee it.
So I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now, Derek. When you say you're hard on equipment, this
Yeah.
is what is left of the last glass
Oops.
rod.
Glass?
Glass rod. The fiberglass.
That
yeah.
rod.
Norvis.
This is Blue Halo. And so
Okay.
yeah, this lasted not very long.
Ouch. Ouch.
My BVK was right behind that one that I snapped in half.
What the hell did you
Twice.
snag to break that thing? What did you? What were you fishing there? Semi tractor trailer? What the
I
hell?
can't
Was it?
Rockfish.
Have you seen
Rockfish.
some of the fish that I pull out?
I try to ignore all your IGs,
I do
bro.
too.
Okay.
It's not
Alright.
uncommon for me to get into a double digit trout
Yeah.
and stuff, so it makes it nice. And I don't have to deal with all the crowds. It's-
For some reason, Derek, I thought you've been fly fishing longer than that. I don't know why. Maybe just because you
No.
started and then took a hiatus, but
So it was
Yeah.
the river runs
Well,
through
yeah,
it as your motivation.
Yeah. See, I learned to fly fish when I was a kid.
okay.
So I mean, technically, I mean, if you're splitting hairs, you can say I've been fly fishing since I don't know. I think the first time I learned to fly fish, I was like, I don't know, 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
But yeah, didn't do it a ton, but definitely learned how to do it. Caught some fish doing it, but really seriously taking it up like in the last 3.5 years.
nice. Just all out,
Yeah.
nothing else.
No, I still will take my spinning gear out there. If I go out there with like my nieces and nephews and go out there fishing and I plan to go and fish with them, I'm not going to take my fly gear. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
With the wrong
That's-
people, yeah.
And that's what I love hearing. I love hearing the fact that even though like your main source of fishing is fly fishing, it's not your only source. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we all love catching fish, no matter how we're doing it or what we're using or how we're in the process of doing it. Other than Gary, because he's picky and he's old. And it's just like
I'm
More
sorry, I
picky.
didn't hear you. I need to turn your
Picky
mic
than
up.
old.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
hear you.
and I think that's one of the things that I myself, because I started in 2015 and in 15 I decided, okay, I'm doing nothing else but fly fishing. And it's just like so I can get into it, understand it, and just show the dedication that I need to put into it. But I think that's one of the things is everybody looks at like, oh, you're a fly fisherman, and everybody instantly thinks of like the purists. And it's like, oh, you don't spin fish or you don't do it. I still chug spin. I'm just when you're chasing bass and there's fucking lily pads out there, I'm not throwing my fucking fly rod.
Right.
I'm gonna do whatever it's gonna take to get to those bass and
Sure.
stuff like that. But
Well, I can show my age because I am a little older than you young bucks
well,
in
your
here.
face is showing your age. So I mean,
Thank you very much. Anyways, everybody goes back to that movie, the river runs through it. Is that your motivation? Like, no, it's not my motivation. That was not it.
no, it was
You
Jesus.
guys, no, actually I was down there in Dolly Parton in Tennessee fishing. And this young kid, 10 years younger than me, walked in front of me and started fly fishing. And I told my wife, that's what I want to do. She said, shut up. And I ended up fishing. But my point is my generation, everybody remembers that movie. You guys probably were, 2 or 3 when that movie came out. Don't even know what I'm talking about, Brad Pitt and all that crap. But
It's a great movie. I
wish-
still have that
I
VHS.
wish I was that young when it came out.
No, I was gonna say I'm still Gen X.
just say yes, Derek. Just yes, I was.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
And then I'm having trouble with people not understanding why I throw the fish back. They're like, well, we're having it tonight for dinner. Why do you throw it back? And I tried to explain it, the love of the fishing, the love of the water. It'll be there next week instead of being gone. And that's too complicated. Now I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, well, it's because it's the rules. I have to throw it back. And then they're like, oh, okay. I tried to explain the passion of it doesn't work.
That's one thing I've really noticed, even around here, because we have commercial fishermen off the Columbia and then going out to the ocean and stuff like that. And then you got the guys that are just like on my side of the hill. It's nobody cares about trout. Everybody's about salmon steelhead. That's it. And it's
Seasonal though, right? Is that seasonal?
You can go pretty much all year. You got summer runs,
Okay.
fall runs, winter runs. It just matters. You just gotta go to different rivers in different areas. And so, I mean, you don't get. I mean, everybody looks at it like everybody keeps everything, and then you're out there catching trout or bass or chasing walleye or whatever, and you're chucking it back, and they give you that look like, what in God's green earth are you doing? And it's just like, and I love fish. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's
Me too.
I love predator fish. I love walleye. I love
Oh, yeah.
white meat fish. It's just
Oh God, red snapper, my friend.
dude. And yeah, and you get into it, lingcod, stuff like that. I mean, it's just like
Oh,
I
yeah, halibut,
love,
yeah.
I love predator fish. And to me, it tastes better than salmon steelhead. I mean, it's just
I agree.
it has such a better taste to it.
Agreed.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And then they're like, well, you just don't eat trout then? Well, no, I eat trout, but I only keep trout if I'm like camping and I can cook it up that night or I'm taking it home to smoke. Other than that, I don't keep trout. I very rarely keep trout. And it's just like, but they look at you like it's like you're throwing a 6-pack of beer back in the water or something. It's like,
it's
what are you doing?
You just wasted $6. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This
So-
dude came up to me the other day. I was fishing the creek through town, and it
creek
just
would
kind
that
of
be?
blew my. That was Rapid Creek through town.
The
And it
one
just blew-
behind Home Depot, Gary.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
I know where that's at, bro. If you had told, if you started out with that, I knew exactly where it was at. I'm
So
sorry,
over
Ryan.
there-
Go ahead, finish my
Sorry,
story.
Ryan.
No, you guys are good. I'm over there fishing. This guy walks up and he's like, "Hey, you catching anything?" And I'm like, "No, I just got out here, for a couple casts." He's like, "Man," he's like, "I love fishing, man." He's like, "But I hate it because I have to take all the fish home that I catch." And it just blew my mind when he said,
Yeah, I'm
that.
like,
And I'm
what?
you don't have to keep every fish. Like, what are you getting at, man? You out here with like treble hooks? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it just kind of took me back. I never heard anyone say anything like that. Like, no, I love fishing, but man, I hate taking them home because I have to take every one of them home that I catch. I'm like, you can let them go, man. You know what I
Right?
mean?
It's not like that rule. If you touch it, you buy it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
you can let this thing go.
I don't know, man. It took me back.
As long as you get your hands wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I ran into an old country boy like that one time, and
What's
he's like, he was like, if I catch it, I have to take it home. But he grew up old school, where if you shoot it or if you catch it or whatever, you have to eat it, and it was just like instilled into his mindset.
Yeah, it's just like a mindset.
Yeah,
type.
it's just like, hey, if
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, it has to have a purpose behind it.
That's
But-
a valid point.
And I could
That's the
see
way I
that, but
grew
then
up.
to me,
Yeah.
to me, then that's not a passion anymore. That's just you're hunting.
Yeah.
And
Derek was telling me that story in Alaska. That basically, they went out as kids with a BB gun or whatever, and if they shot, whatever, a chickadee,
Yep,
I mean, they're gonna eat that chickadee.
dude, that's how I grew up too.
Yeah.
And it's just like I
They're really
remember-
good smoked, by the way, with bacon.
Are they? Okay.
Oh,
Good to
you know,
know.
Whatever the hell a chickadee is, but yeah,
Anything's
Google,
good if it's
Gary,
deep fried. It's got
Google.
bacon.
everything's good with bacon. Bacon
Yeah.
makes all other food taste good.
Yeah, because I mean, I grew up the same way, and luckily, my first freaking screwing around with the pellet gun, I shot a quail, which, by the way, I love quail.
Yeah,
And it's
delicious.
just quail is so good, and it's just like, and so I grew up the same way. If you shoot it, you eat it, and so
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Some
Yeah,
of that's
that's-
just river etiquette plays
Yeah.
into that a little bit.
Yeah.
If you think you overplayed a fish and it's within the legal limits, it makes sense to keep that one.
and see, and that's why,
Right.
and I don't know how you guys are, and there's some rivers here, like the Metolius, I think is like 38 degrees year round, so I don't have to worry about the heat.
Mm,
But like during the
nice.
summer, I bump up and throw 4X on everything. And the main fact is I do that is I want to get that fish in as fast
Get
as
it
I
in
can
quick. Yep.
and release it and get it back and just let it go. I try to eliminate 99% of the fight. And it's
Right.
and everybody's like, "Oh, you're throwing 4X, I'm throwing 6X to get down farther." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to miss fish, but the one I'm catching, I'm going to make sure that they're not going to just float off and end up downriver for some bird to
Belly
eat."
up.
Right. Yep.
So
Yeah. It just depends on what type of river I'm fishing for sure. Because, a lot of these tailwaters, they'll stay pretty cold to where,
Yeah, year round. Yeah,
the
Tailwater's
year
my
round.
favorite.
yeah. Even when
I
it's
love
super
tailwater.
cold outside, they're
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So Derek, it sounds like you've had plenty of good times on the water, man. Big fish stories, some that got away, But have you ever had like anything pop in your mind, like a super embarrassing moment you want to talk about?
Yeah, we need that, Derek. Tell
Yeah.
us your bad side.
Pictures
There's
too, if
plenty-
you have them.
Right? Delete those.
Dave, I'm drinking. Can you wait a half a
Oh,
second?
sorry.
Well,
And
yeah,
I'm sure I'm sure your girlfriend has a picture, so you want to get her in this. So
right? Oh, yeah.
There
no,
you go.
there you go.
There's many times I come home off the river and I foul in all the time, Gary. We know how that goes in this household as well. when
I was on one of those trips.
right? Yeah, I recently, I guess, I chipped my tooth. I was
What?
out there. Oh yeah, yeah. So the front ones, Dave, they're fake. I knocked them
Huh.
out when I was a young kid. So the
Oh.
two front ones, they're only they're partially fake. So like basically right down the middle.
Huh.
And I was out on the river, probably about a year ago, I think. And I was eating candy because you know how I love my candy.
That's a fact.
You're a sugar fiend? Oh,
That's
no.
a fact.
Yeah. And so
There'll
I
be
was
s-
eating taffy.
Ugh.
Came the tooth.
Salt
See,
water.
mine's peanut butter M&Ms.
Ooh, I love peanut butter M&Ms.
Hey, Rob, you're the reason why I'm eating the vanilla Oreos.
Yep.
You had them in the back of your truck at Yamsey. I ate half
Yeah,
the
oh.
box before I showed Adam, who ate the other half.
Yep. Oreos and peanut butter M&Ms are always on my trip.
Nice.
Chocolate's
Taffy's-
hard. Chocolate's hard
Taffy's
to drive
soft
around.
though. How do you chip
Yeah.
a tooth on taffy?
I just think the because it was a temporary, and I never got around to getting a permanent cap because this temporary, literally, Gary, I kid you not, this temporary has lasted me over 20 years.
Huh.
That's not a temporary. That's not a temp.
It was intended to be a tip.
That's funny.
What it was
But
supposed to
was.
wasn't what it was.
Yeah, but you figure 20 years ago, they actually done good work.
Yeah.
True.
So
There's actually
yeah,
quality. in their
Apparently
work.
they did.
yeah, exactly. I just took a bite of taffy, and out came the tooth, and it popped out.
Did you
in my
eat the
hand.
tooth or did you shit it
No.
out?
It popped out in my hand, and I came home, and my girl walks in, and I have it sitting on the table, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And
Did
my
you ask for the
mouth
tooth
closed.
fairy? I want my $2. You get $2 under the pillow, honey.
Yeah, then I
It's funny
smiled
now,
at her.
Gary. That's
She's
back
like,
when you were a
"What
kid.
the hell?"
No, I did it to my kids. That's
Oh,
a
okay.
tradition we continue.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yep.
That's
So,
funny.
so what did you grab this tooth, run to the dentist? Apparently not. You ran to your girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I had to wait for the dentist because I think it was a Friday night. I had to wait for it was during COVID, and I had to
Oh.
wait for a dentist. I think a Monday or a Tuesday, so I had to walk around with half a tooth for a couple of days.
Oh, that was good looking, homeboy.
Hey,
He's a
Then got
tattoo
another
artist. It's cool.
Yeah, it works. In his line of work, yeah, he just looks tougher.
Exactly.
How'd you
In
lose?
some parts of the world, that's honorable.
True.
All right.
Arkansas, Mississippi. But you look good down there.
My
By the way, you
sister's
can date
cousin.
your cousin. It's legal. I've seen it happen.
Oh man.
Sorry. No, it's legal. Second, never mind.
I'm waiting for him to be like, yeah, I chipped my tooth on like this monster brown. You wouldn't believe it. It spit the hook and Black Betty
Right.
right to the front.
Exactly. You gotta make a better story up there,
No,
Derek.
no, no. Hey, Derek,
That's
I
like
like
the
this
brown
one.
trout on the green.
No, the truth is funnier. The truth is funnier.
Yeah,
That was
well,
good,
everybody
Derek.
that knows me knows that that's right up my river. Candy? Oh yeah, of course you lost
Yeah.
teeth eating candy.
That's a fact.
Well, there might be some hot tamales in Wyoming when we happen to stroll around there. If that's an incentive for you, Derek.
Like
Oh man,
home,
buddy.
like true homemade.
What?
So
No,
bad.
no, no. The little candy, the sugar
Hot
candy.
tamales.
Hot tamales.
I
Thank
was
you.
thinking like tamales. I'm like, dude, those are.
I want some tamales.
We just we
Costco. Costco has
Dude.
some of the best.
Oh,
Not
hell
that I'm
no.
promoting Costco.
no. We
You-
go down to the little Mexican lady that hand makes them and brings them
No.
out. and
One of
sells
us is racist. I'm not sure who, but anyways.
them. Not me because I'm buying it from her.
That's it.
Right?
And
You're
they're-
racist and
they're
rich.
Amazing.
Right? Can't be me. My last name's Martinez. I just look like this.
Yeah.
Is that Armenian, Martinez? Is that Armenian?
Yes. Eastern European.
Great.
Eastern
Yeah.
European. The same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Gypsy. He's a little gypsy in him.
Yes, sir.
No, crazy stuff. Yes. All right. So next,
What else you got, Gary?
I'm thinking.
Thinking? Well, that was the most
Well, that's not your
embarrassing.
strong suit, man. I see
It's
smoke. on
not.
that. That's
That's bad.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna do a float trip here in a week or two, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking I just drop in the water as soon as we hit the boat
Just get
ramp.
it out of the way.
Get it out of
Yeah,
the way. Thank you, Rob. You were
Yep.
there, Rob. You get
Do
it.
it.
Why
mean,
waste
warm.
a half a day
Well,
wet? Do it right off the beginning. Right off
I
the bat.
do got one for you, Derek, because unfortunately you hang out with these two fucking clowns. Um,
Uh-oh.
Ryan, I'd
What-
be pissed that he said that.
what is the worst advice that you've gotten, and it's probably gonna come from one of these guys.
When Gary opened his mouth.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough.
We got to get a beat button on here. That was not nice. That was totally
Man.
rude, childish,
doesn't-
immature.
He didn't say it worse advice from Gary or Dave. He just said worse advice on the river.
Yeah.
All I
what's, like,
said is don't have broccoli for breakfast.
what's the worst advice you've gotten for like being on the water?
Man, worst advice. You know, fortunately,
Well, what about worst advice? What do you got in advice? You just went, that guy's an idiot. It doesn't have to be the worst advice. You just went,
Ooh.
that guy's so full of shit. You
How
turn
about
around and
that?
went, what?
a lot
How
of
about the
times I
guide
don't
on the
think
Green
that's
River?
advice. A lot of times, you know, because you get that on the river, especially some of the rivers that we fish out here. Dave probably could attest to this. I mean, if you show up to like Deckers and it's combat fishing, and you know you walk past a guy and you might just, for small talk reasons, not even want to hear his opinion, and you ask him, you know, hey, how'd you do today? You know, what are they hitting? You know, you'll get some guys that will give you just some outlandish fly. And you know,
Fly
he's
lie.
just-
The fly
Yeah,
lie.
he's
That's what we got to
just-
call
he's
it. The
just
fly
trying-
lie.
Yeah, he's just saying it to be a jerk. You know, he's not giving you any advice. And I would say that that's probably some of the worst. I've been lucky enough to where I haven't gotten a bunch of terrible advice. And, you know, I don't know, you know, I try to be nice to people.
Yeah.
You know, I like people. So most of the time they're pretty apt to divulge. I haven't gotten a ton of terrible advice, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Or maybe
Yeah.
that
You
means,
fish in Colorado. That's
I would
the
say,
amazing
or
thing.
maybe that means
Yeah,
that
right?
you're the one who's giving the bad advice. I mean, it's just
Oh. Where's the beat button at now?
Right?
Full
So-
I
circle.
can definitely be that guy.
So I got a question for you, because you and Dave are in Colorado, and you're very tourist style fishing there. It's,
Oh yeah.
What's it like that? Because I don't deal with that. Like I can go down. I have the North St. Am 5 minutes from my house, which is a very productive cutthroat and salmon, steelhead, and all that. I'll go down there and I can be the only one fishing for like miles, and that's consistently any time of year, other than when the rubber hatch comes out. I mean, that's consistently the only time of year.
The what?
What's it?
The rubber,
What
the
was
tube
that?
hatch.
Yeah, the rubber hatch. But what's it like? I mean, what's some advice you can tell anybody that's listening that for going to a tourist area, what to expect, how to deal with that, being an outsider?
Man, well, fortunately, you know, I do fish some of them spots. I don't have to fish them very often. You know, unlike Dave, he lives up in the Denver metro area, and that's all there is up there is combat fishing. And where I live in Colorado, it's actually some of the rivers down here. I'm like you, man. I can go to some of these rivers down here. It doesn't matter what time of year, and I'm going to be by myself, you know, for miles on end. If I go during the winter, I'll literally have the whole river to myself, like
Yep.
not just miles, like literally every drop of water is mine. But I do fish them rivers still. My advice to people is, if you're going to go to them places, you have to let go of thinking that there's etiquette and let that basically just wash off your shoulders, because there's not going to be any. And at the end of the day, you're out there to have a good time. So don't let any of it affect you, because, you know, nobody else is going to give you etiquette. So just go about your business, man. Find some water. If somebody comes and approaches you and invades your space, move along and find another piece of water. Don't let it ruin your peace.
Well, and that's a great advice. But one time I was down in Missouri fishing, and again it was below a hatchery. And there's 18,000 guys upriver of me, and I'm down on the end. And I find the right fly, I find the right everything, and I'm just killing it. And this guy literally moves in and throws his fly in my. I caught a fish, pulled it in, so my spot was open that I was hitting. He threw
Oh,
it
yeah.
in. He threw it into my spot. He's right across the
yeah.
river. I mean, so what would you have done? And I'll tell you what I did after you tell me what you would have done.
Derek
Well,
is a
I
nice
actually-
guy. We'll
Derek's a
preface
nice
that.
guy. I want to hear what a nice guy would have done.
Well, see, and I've actually had the exact same thing happen. As a matter of fact, when I was with Dave, Adam, down on the San Juan. San Juan is just like that. It's combat fishing, and I had this guy. These fish were rising, and I was throwing this dry fly right in this seam, and they were just lined up, just taking anything on the surface. And I caught a couple of fish, and he was walking. He was clearly leaving the river, and he saw this happening, and he stopped. And he was across the river from me, and he waded into the river and was literally, I was throwing my dry fly, letting it drift. And as it was getting to the end of the drift, he would throw his dry fly in and let it drift down. And, at first I was like, oh, this guy, you got to be kidding me. And, this was late in the day on the San Juan, like literally almost everybody had left. So he had plenty of water to fish. I basically racked my fly and went and found some more water because, we were there, we were having a good time. I'm not going to get frustrated over it because I'm out there, fly fishing is my peace, truly is my peace. It's, the work that I do every day, all day, I'm with people. So like, I don't even have like I don't have an office to, get away from these people. I'm tattooing. So I am literally right there with another person all day long, all the time. So when I go fishing, that's my peace. I can get out on the river. I can be there by myself. There's no distraction. There's no noises. And so when I'm out there, I'm not going to let somebody ruin my peace. I'll just move along. Doesn't bother me.
So you'll leave a good spot to somebody that walked in on you and was rude, crude, and obnoxious. Because that's not what I did.
That's the difference
I know that's
between Derek and Gary.
Not what I did.
Let's talk about what Gary would do.
Gary yelled across the river, "Do you need any help? Do you want to know which fly I'm using too?" The guy looked at me like a deer to headlight. Didn't say a word. He just moved along. Perfect.
So what's even best is when you guys, like in Derek's situation, because I've kind of been there, and you just move downstream and you're still catching fish, and they're in your hole where the fish are, but you're still catching fish. They're not catching.
That
fish.
is the best.
That is the middle finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep rolling, baby.
I was pretty satisfied when I chased that guy away from me. I was pretty satisfied.
Apparently, I need to get out more because I've never had anybody do that. Well, of course,
Wow.
I fish in the middle of fucking nowhere anyway, purposely away from people.
You're in Oregon, buddy. Half of your
You're
state's trying
a
to get out of
lucky
Oregon.
man.
Yeah.
Well,
I
see,
mean, I'm doing,
and that's what I do. That's what I aim to do. These other rivers like Deckers, the San Juan, I'll go and fish once in a while. I try to do it in the evening when everybody is left. They've gone home from the day during the week. I'm like you. I avoid them places because at the end of the day, I don't truly want to fish in them places. I'd much rather have a huge section of river to myself and some serenity and some peace and just get after figuring out the puzzle.
Sounds like you're like me. You're going up there. I fly fish so I don't throw punch people. And it's just like, I'm going up there to get, I don't want to see people. I don't want to fucking hear my phone. I want to maybe play some good music, sit on water, and chase some amazing fish.
Yep.
That's my goal.
Well, let's talk about this for a second because you guys are getting ready to go on a big trip. So this is how I look at it personally.
You've been invited, by the way.
I know. if I'm
And
rolling,
he turned us down.
Yes.
if I'm
Son of a
going to somebody
bitch.
else's stomping ground, right? So if I come over there and I fish with Dave and I'm fishing Colorado, if I go to Montana, no matter where it is, if it's not my home water, right? I personally take it upon myself to have river etiquette. Because I know the feeling, because we have a pretty good fishery here where there's some pretty good sized trout that is a lot. You go down there any day of the week right now in tourist season, there's going to be one or two local plates type of deal. You know what I mean? Everyone else is just like from out of town. So when I'm going to these other places, I take the actions that I see them doing and I do the exact opposite. I'm like, this is their water. I know what it's like to pull up and see all these other plates in your home water, and you're like, here we go. You know what I mean? Here we go. We got to deal with all this. So what I do, and I actually fished 11 Mile Canyon in Colorado, which is awesome because I'd never fished it before. And it was very, very late fall, man. It was like super sketchy camping. Like we were like, we're either gonna wake up to 3 feet of snow or we're gonna get out of here. We don't know. But we went into the canyon, and I've heard horror stories about combat fishing in there. And it was just so late in the season. I guess we got there at the right time. We got in there. And when we pulled up, there's only a couple other cars. Not the story when we left, but when we pulled in, there's a couple cars. So I'm fishing, man. I got a pretty good area. I caught a beautiful freaking cutty, man, or a cutthroat cut bow in there, and I'm all happy, you know. And I look up, and I'm just like so in the zone. I look up, and this dude is like basically on my shoulder, and I'm looking around, dude. Like I literally was like a deer in the headlights. I'm looking around, like, is this happening right now? Like, what's
Where'd
going
this
on?
guy come from?
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what, dude? You know what? He's probably a local dude. Like, it's not worth getting in a fight on the river. So I definitely gave him a look. 100% gave him a look. Like, you know, man, I know that you know. And then I just kind of
Right.
moved along, bro. Like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. Like, how do you guys approach that? Because you guys are getting ready to go to some unfamiliar territory and
Yeah, we're gonna
some,
be
some
the
very
outsiders.
western areas.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, we're
I'm-
gonna be the outsiders.
I'm,
I'm just
throwing
gonna.
meat. If they want to be around me when I'm throwing meat, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what?
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm the
Rob,
same
I got
way.
you covered. I got a size 6 white sneaker sock right back over
an old
there.
sneaker sock. I'll tell you what. Get some every time.
Rob, you bring the hooks. I'll bring the socks.
We're there.
Game on. Game
Isn't
on.
that your
Good
cock
catches,
puppet though,
fish,
Gary?
fish.
Is
Again,
that
we
with
need
or
to
without
blurp out,
flash?
beep out.
We don't need no crusties.
Oh, well, I'll wash them. That way, it
Leave
gets
that
more
sock
leg.
home. Leave
How
that
do you
sock
think
home.
you get that correct flow in the water?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that's
Hey,
UV
we gotta
resin.
send it. We gotta send that tattoo to Derek and let him see if he wants to
Yeah.
make 5 of them or 4 of them. I don't want one. But
I'm
you
in.
guys could all have them.
He's in.
Hey, I'm in. I've got the drawings from my sleeves. I should just come over and get some tattoos.
Absolutely, man.
Ryan, I mean Derek, you think you're going on vacation? No, buddy. A lot of free work.
Yeah. We should.
I
do,
just want to make sure I'm the first one because that second or third guy is going to be a mess with you.
But if you
We'll be
think
getting
about
drunk.
it, though, you think about how cool would it be to get like tatted on the side of the fucking river?
Dude, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah, the alcohol's kicking in. I
Hey,
like it.
hey, I'll bring.
Yeah.
I'll bring the generator if you bring the tools, man. We'll make this shit happen.
What? He's using a hammer and a sharp steak.
Hey.
Steak.
Steak.
Going
wait a
straight
minute, I'm
old
hungry.
school.
Yeah, he's
Right.
going
Oh,
old.
man.
He's going Hawaiian on us, man. A little Filipino.
Dude, my tattoo shop is literally a block away from the river.
That's
We're not going to be near your tattoo shop, bro.
That's
Why
as
not?
close as you're gonna get probably to a tattoo near
Yep.
the river.
It's as close as I'm going to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek, I've been meaning to ask you, dude.
Yep.
Do you do a lot of trout outwork, especially like being in Colorado and that close to the river? And
On purpose?
yeah, like do a lot of people come in there and get trout tattoos? Is that your thing, or?
You know, I do a lot of trout tattoos. I don't do as many as I'd like to do. I would like to do more.
I like
But
that.
I do
Sorry, bro.
I do my fair share. And I love doing them.
So my question to you is, do you have a portable machine that you could bring along?
You know, I like to say I'm with the times, Gary. So my tattoo machine is completely wireless and
Ooh,
battery
wow.
operated.
That's cool.
So
So
it can go any-
this
So I
could-
need to ask
so
you
this could
guys.
happen.
So I need to ask you guys:
There's a chance.
Do I ask for forgiveness or do I ask for permission? That's what I.
All I'm going to say is be a man.
Well, that doesn't help me because I'm like, no tattoo for me. I don't like a doctor giving me a shot, much less a guy with a needle hitting me
So-
1,000 times.
So we may
Oh,
need
man,
to
you'll like
bring.
it.
We may
You'll
need to
like it,
bring
yeah.
some.
If I keep drinking, I'll be
Yeah.
fine.
We'll
There you go.
might have to throw in some excess funds to freaking make this shit happen.
Right.
Money
Cool.
talks.
It is.
Cool.
The logistics are there.
All
Awesome,
right.
Derek. Well, you've been awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You're great. I want to
Thanks
ask you
for
one last
yeah.
question, man. If you could leave us and the listeners with just anything, like something about yourself, just some advice or anything at all, the world's listening, what would you say?
Man, just enjoy life, man. It's freaking awesome.
Very nice,
It
dude.
can't be beat, man.
Enjoy
Live it.
life and be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
do try to be nice to everybody.
Yeah,
You never know what
Karma,
somebody's going-
dude. Karma, man. You know, if you're nice, maybe someone else will be nice to you.
Yeah.
Gary.
Well, you
take
don't
that.
never know what
Gary.
somebody's going through, man. You might make
No,
their day
seriously.
nice to them.
You know,
That's true.
unlike Dave, I was pretty nice tonight.
You really
Dave.
were.
Yeah.
You really
Dave
were.
was a little vicious.
Damn.
Yeah, he just
Yeah,
doesn't
well.
know that I secretly muted everything Gary came out of Mary's mouth during this recording.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, so you have to take my word for it. I was nice tonight.
so
Well done.
Derek Martinez is our guest today. We want to thank you so much and hope you enjoyed it. And this was Safe
Yeah, it
Free
was
Outdoors
awesome.
Podcast.
Woo!
Thanks,
Nice
guys.
work.